before our presentation, let's start the video.
Cho nên cái này sau một mình nó phải nên thẳng. Kiểu nhạc Luffy.
So after watching video, can you tell me what do you think about it? Can you tell me what do you think about this video? Tom?
This video let me think about overpopulation around the world, and it leads to so many serious problems to humans.
Okay, thank you.
Our presentation was divided into 5 parts. There are definition, causes, situation, effects, and solution. First, let's start with definition. As you know, overpopulation is one of the country's most pressing social problems. So, what is overpopulation? Overpopulation can be defined as a state in which there are too many people on the planet to supply them with basic things like drinkable water, food, breathable air, and so on. Overpopulation can also be defined as a state where the ecological footprint of humanity is bigger than the planet's carrying capacity, meaning that the damaging process is faster than the repair process carried out by nature, which eventually will lead to an economic collapse. This problem increases day by day due to lack of efficient auditing, overpopulation and accelerated migration to urban areas, long location choices, and unplanned industrialization.
Hard progress contribute to overpopulation in many developing countries. Children are sent to many poor families because they provide labor, usually for family. Culture now in traditionally rural society common century the value of large families. Also, the government of developing countries are support little or no support financial or political for farming family. Even people wish to keep their families small have difficulty doing so. So I have a question for you. What nation is more populous? Well,
I think China.
that's right.
Mời
The chart shows the distribution of world's population by region. Each general it can be seen that the world population is distribution unevenly in the region. The population rate in Asia is the highest of four continents, 32% in South Asia and 26% in East Asia. Most countries in Asia are developing ones. People are often aware of the results of population explosion. Therefore, their families are usually bigger. They can't provide their children well and then grow like whereas in Europe, the population rate is 50% and even 11% in Africa. Most countries are developed one and people's living conditions are much better than those in Asia and Africa, which have more poor people in the world. In America, the population rate is 14% and 8% in Latin America, where many people whose living standards are low, and 6% in North America, where there are many rich people. In the oceanic areas, the number of residents is much lower and the population rate only 2%. Causes. This can be result from high population density or from low amounts of resources or from both. There is excessively high population density which gather available resources. Only a certain number of people can be spot on a given area of land, and that number depends on how much food and other resources land can provide. Fewer children die at birth. People are not aware of the problem of population. People are not properly educated. People believe that having many children means happiness. Religion doesn't encourage people to have fewer children. Many people believe that having a large family is a form of insurance.
Now I have a question. Do you think that the larger in population country is, the stronger it is? In my opinion, a strong country is a country have developed and economy and people in that country have a good life. If a populous country underdeveloped, there will be several effects. Now let's start with overpopulation effects on society and humans. The first effect is food security is threat. In developing countries, agriculture is the main occupation of people. More people in rural areas are dependent on agriculture as their primary source of income. In many areas, the carrying capacity of agricultural land have already reached saturation, which is due to infertile soil erosion, overuse of pesticides and fertilizers. Number two, lack of education.
Overpopulation is one of the causes of illiteracy. People who lack education have many troubles in life, include poor health, lack of voice, life, shorter lifespan, and gender inequality. It has directly relation with many social evils. Number 3 is increase the emergence of new epidemic and pandemic. Overpopulation exacerbates many social and environmental factors, including overcrowded living pollution, malnutrition, and inadequate or non-existent health care, which bring harm on the poor and increase their likelihood of being exposed to infectious disease. And number 4, elevated crime rate. As human overpopulation derive resources and basic necessities such as food and water become scarcer, there will be increased competitiveness for these resources, which lead to elevated crime rate due to drug cartels and theft by people in order to survive. Overpopulation affects not only on human life but also on the environment. First, it makes increase global warming and climate change. According to the Center of Biological Diversity, the largest single threat to the ecology and biodiversity of planet indicates to come with global climate disruption due to the build-up of human generate greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Human activities are causing climate change. The effects of climate change are profound and far-reaching. Climate change, perhaps the greatest challenge threat and human has ever faced. The next is loss of fresh water. According to UN Water, 3/4 of our planet is covered in water, but 97.5% of that is ocean, and 2.5% of that is fresh water. It's estimated that by 2025, more than half of world population will be facing water-based vulnerability, and by 2030, nearly half of the world people will be living in areas of acute water shortage. Number 3 is species extinction. Humans are being currently causes of the greatest mass extinction of species in the extinction of dinosaurs. The dinosaur 65 million years ago. It presents change continued. Scientists warn that within a few decades, at least half of all plants and animals on the earth will be extinct as a result of climate change, habitat loss, pollution, and human overpopulation. And finally, affects depletion of natural resources. As human population continue to explode, natural resources such as fossil fuels, fresh water, arable land, coral reef, and frontier forests continue to plummet, which is placing competitive stress on the basic life-sustaining resources and leading to diminished quality of life.
It is very worrying that recently the proportion of the population has increased dramatically. Therefore, identifying the situation, the current situation, finding the cause and proposing solutions to cope and control the population growth rate is an urgent job. While the current trend of the world do not present any dramatic solution to human overpopulation in the 21st century, many mitigation measures have been or can be applied to reduce effects of overpopulation. Five possible solutions to overpopulation. One, empower women. Studies show that women with access to reproductive health supply find it easier to break out of poverty. While those who work are more likely to import control. The United Nations populations fund aim to tackle both issues at once, running microcredit project to turn young women into advocates for reproductive health, and two, promote family planning, simply entertaining men and women about contraception can have a big impact. When Ireland introduced a national family planning program in 1989, its fertility rate went from 5.6 per woman to 2.6 in a decade. A similar effort in Rwanda saw a threefold increase in contraception uses in just 5 years. Three, make education entertaining. The US-based Population Media Center gets creative to reach women Israeli soap operas which feature country-specific story about reproductive health. Have been watched by as many as 500 million people in 50 countries. In Ethiopia, 63% women seeking reproductive health services reported turning in. And four, government incentives. So as UK charity Population Matter have believed there should be senior government officials responsible for addressing population's related issues. They urge government to promote responsible parenthood and say subsidies should be limited to the first two children unless the family is living in poverty. Five, the one-child legislation. During the China's high controversial one-child policy, fertility fell from 6 per woman in the 1960s to 1.5 in the 2014. However, Amnesty International reports